Hi, my name is TJ Brunelle, and I'm reporting for the Federalist newspaper. Today, I'm joined by the Grammy-nominated band, the Marías. This is them.
Hello,
Hi,
Hello.
this is us.
This is us.
I'm Maria,
I'm Josh.
I'm Edward.
Jesse.
and we're the Marias.
When we talk about everything that happened, rather sit around, don't need another lesson. You just call me when I'm distant, always run your mouth, I don't wanna listen. When we talk about everything that happened, rather sit around, don't need another.
So, to get this started, could you each tell me how you guys got started as musicians?
Yes. So I grew up, my dad plays music, all of his brothers, play guitar, they play music. And so it was just always in family gatherings. And then my dad taught me how to play a few chords on guitar. And using those chords, I wrote my first song. And then I started playing open mics and started writing more songs. And one thing led to another. And I moved to LA, and that's where I met.
Josh, who started music early on in life. Started taking piano lessons when I was like 5. And my first love was the drums. And then music has just been my passion from a very early age.
I'm Edward. I started playing piano when I was about 5, is when my parents got me piano lessons.
Copycat.
Yeah. I think I started because my dad got a good deal on a keyboard at Radio Shack if we switched phone carriers.
I
And
forgot about that story.
the keyboard had a lot of fun sounds on it, and I didn't realize I was really practicing and developing a connection with the instrument, and it was an unintended bond. So that's how I started.
Nice. I also started with drums at a very early age, and then I took piano lessons for like a year, which I'm glad I did because I think that helped a lot with my ear, and then quickly switched to guitar, which my dad plays guitar and collects a bunch of guitars, so I would always just kind of steal his guitars and take care of them all. And then I started taking guitar lessons for many years, maybe almost 15, 16 years or so. And yeah,
As musicians, as you developed your skill, and even now, who would you say are your biggest influences when you create art?
I mean, we come from like a wide, like a lot of different influences. I mean, I grew up listening to a lot of Latin music, but also like Julieta Venegas, Don Omar, Zion Lennox, Carla Morrison. But I also listened to a lot of R&B, Erykah Badu, Lauryn Hill, D'Angelo. Yeah, and then I think when I moved here and met the guys, like I was kind of introduced to this like psychedelic rock, more like indie scene. And then we just kind of like meshed all of those together.
yeah. I think we all kind of grew up with the Beatles. That's like our number one.
Except for me.
Yeah, except for Maria. But you definitely got into it more
Yeah.
as we started making music together, and Radiohead and a lot of that British psych rock stuff too.
I've noticed for your album rollout, you've done something kind of different with the Submarine Diaries. Could you explain the process of being so just open with your fan base?
Yeah. So, I mean, that was the goal. Our goal was to be open with our fan base. I think it's like scary to be that open and like letting people into our lives basically, but it's something that we wanted. I think this Submarine, the album, is very open and very honest, probably like our most honest work to date. And so we just wanted Submarine Diaries to sort of like reflect that honesty and let you in on our lives.
As someone who's been listening to your project's release and stuff, and as you guys develop as a band, I've noticed you guys are very detailed with your music videos, your merchandise, even your social media posts are stylized. The stories I noticed today, very nice looking. How could you explain like your artistic process when it comes to building like the worlds around your music?
Yeah. I mean, I'm inspired by a lot of like films, and I think from the very beginning, and just like just like the visual, I'm a very like visual person. And so my favorite part of like being in this project is like when that like the visual side then like merges with the musical side. That's like my favorite, and then it actually works. Like that's my favorite thing about being an artist, about being in a band. Um, but yeah, I just find a lot of inspiration from like old films, new films, um, photography, magazines, and yeah.
Looking back on your guys' debut album, Cinema, how would you guys say you're approaching this album differently if you are?
When we started writing this album, from a musical standpoint, I decided that I wanted less in the studio, less instruments, less to look at, wanted more a minimal vibe. So technically speaking, I guess we kind of went more minimal with it, and in a way that's like less is more.
That was at first though, and I feel like as we got through the recording process, then you started to want more and more toys and new sounds and
Yeah, now at this point, I've actually
switched.
like gone a complete 180, and now I just want more and more things in the studio. But when we were making Submarine, it was the same
Minimal.
instruments throughout the whole process. But now that we've finished it and working on the next stuff, now I'm going very maximal and putting everything I got in the studio in a clean way. But songwriting wise, nothing. I mean, I don't know. We didn't do anything intentionally to change. We've progressed as songwriters and evolved and grown as individuals, and that's always going to lend itself to new ideas and new techniques and creating something. But we didn't go into it thinking, all right, how can we make this different than cinema?
Mhm.
If anything, it felt more like an addition and continuation of cinema.
Yeah, exactly.
If you can talk about it, Josh, I noticed that you talked about Submarine as the bookend to your trilogy. If you could talk more about that, I would love to hear like more about like how this is a trilogy and like how you approach making it the end.
You want me to?
So it's actually not the end.
Oh,
So at first we were like, oh, like Submarine is kind of the end of like super clean cinema Submarine, like it's a trilogy. But like after we finished Submarine, we were like, this doesn't feel like the end. I think there's something else. And so we're just kind of treating Super Clean as kind of just like the foundation of the Marias and as their own sort of world. And Cinema starts the trilogy. So Submarine is second in the trilogy.
as a fan, I look forward to the third one.
Yes.
As a band with numerous collaborations such as Kuko, iDress, and Bad Bunny, could you tell us a little bit about what it's like working with these big artists and smaller artists? And if you guys had a good time working with them, who would you like to work with next?
We loved working with all of them. I mean, for different reasons. Bad Bunny, collaborating with him was so special and important for me because he's Puerto Rican and I'm Puerto Rican, and he's done so much for the island and done so much to like bring visibility to it, that being a part of his album that was, so monumental and put Puerto Rico on the map and, broke all these records is just like so cool. And then iDress, we've been a fan of his for a long time, and that was one of the easiest collaborations. I mean, he just came into the studio and we were here for a day and we made a couple of songs together, and it was just so easy. He's so chill. And Kuko, that was also pretty like seamless and easy, and also really great to work with him. Yeah, I mean, it's cool that we can collaborate with people like Bad Bunny in the reggaeton space, but then also like the sort of like Latin indie like Kuko, and then, you know, the indie sort of like shoegaze vibe of Idris. I think that's like all of those genres like make up who we are as the Marias. And so it's cool to collaborate with artists like that for sure.
Do you guys have any goals like for the future as far as music goes, or just in your careers?
I feel like in terms of how we are as a band now and the growth that we've all gone through this last year and some change has been a big goal, I think, for all of us that we fulfilled. And it's so difficult. I think any creative partnership, business creative, is such a difficult dynamic to keep healthy and happy and close. And it takes a lot of work and constant work. And in terms of a goal, I think that was always something that we had from the beginning, and just took time and a lot of effort to get to where we are today. So personally, I think a goal would just be to continue what we have and to continue to nourish it and experience what comes out of it.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. And then I would just also add, like, we had to, like, right before this call, we had to make a decision to like do this thing or not do this thing. And at the end, we decided, yes, we're gonna do it. We don't want fear to dictate our decision making. We don't want fear to like take the reins. And so I think that's a goal, personal goal of mine, that I think like we can all share collectively as well, is to just like be open to the unknown, be open to change. And like fear might always be a part of like what we do, but not letting it drive the ship.
Mhm.
And being open to like new experiences. So that's a goal that I'll always be reaching for. I
And
think.
to feel okay in uncomfortability.
Yeah.
If you do something that you feel like might be uncomfortable, that's okay. It's okay to even do it and feel uncomfortable, because that's just a part of life. And you grow when you are able to get through things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to hear each of your answers for this one. Do you guys have like a favorite song on the upcoming album that you're like excited to play live, or just it was fun to make?
They're all my babies. But if I had to choose one at this moment, because it changes, like my favorite changes, but right now, the one that I'm most excited to play live is No One Noticed. I think, yeah, that one's just come a long way, and I'm really proud of it. And I'm playing guitar live, and so and I started writing it on guitar. So yeah, I'm excited about that one.
I'm most excited. I know what you guys are gonna say, so I'm gonna say the song called Hamptons.
Oh,
I'm most excited to play Hamptons live. And I think I will always be most excited to play Hamptons live. After playing it and realizing how that goes, I think that's going to be one of my favorite ones.
I think Paranoia would be my favorite. I just love the way that song came together sonically. And there's a very sort of meditative quality to that song that I find. I can't really put my finger on it necessarily, but just the dynamics of it. So yeah.
I think mine changes daily. So today I might have to agree with Josh on Hamptons, but yesterday it might have been Vicious, and then I think tomorrow it's going to be Blur.
Blur is fun to play. Sure.
yeah, I like Blur too.
Many students at my school, because we're kind of a performing arts school, are striving to become like artists in theater or in music. And so what I was wondering is, do you have any advice for them to develop an artistic voice?
I have this motto that I kind of live by, and it's garbage in, garbage out. And so it's like whatever you're consuming is what you're going to be influenced by. So I would say just like, yeah, consume as much of like what you're inspired by as possible. Like if you're really inspired by films, like really just like dive in and like yeah, like read the script, watch it a few times, once for lighting, once for coloring, once for wardrobe, like just really dive in and like, yeah, that's the motto that I would just say.
I would say don't be afraid to fail. In fact, I encourage failure. If you're gonna try producing on Ableton for the first time, just dive right in. There's YouTube now and you can like look up tutorials and whatnot, but just going straight in head first and finding your way by actually doing it and not by thinking about doing it is a huge thing. I wish, well, I did do that. I think that's that's what got me going, was just diving head first into the deep end. And also to finish projects. If you're going to start something that has legs, try finishing it and see what that feels like, because that's something I didn't do at a young age, and I really wish I had the tools in my developmental years of what it feels like to finish something, because that would have helped a lot, and that will help you so much in this business.
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, it applies to everything in life, and it definitely translates back into whatever you do creatively, but to do everything you do with intention. It's, it's a cliche to say, to stay true to yourself and who you are, but to just do everything you do in life, I think, with intention, and how you approach everything, and how you dialogue with everybody, and how you receive things and put things out. Just always do it with intention.
Also, can I add, if you're a producer, I would say don't listen to your bounces unless you're able to work on them. If you bounce something, only listen to it when you're able to actually make edits, and don't obsess over these bounces that you make after a day session. Like maybe once, but always be able to work on your mixes when you're bouncing.
That's really profound. Honestly, that is something I never thought of before.
I forgot who told me this, but someone said you never finish a mix, you abandon it, because you could just work on a mix forever,
Mhm.
and you just got to find the right time to just be like, okay, it's finally done.
Mhm.
There's not more I could do to it, or else you'll just be working on it forever.
Yeah,
That's also good.
yeah.
Do you guys have any parting messages, or I mean, obviously you want to plug your album, but do you have anything you want to say to kind of wrap this up?
Our trumpet player went to
Really
Hamilton,
about it. Shout out Gabe Steiner, went to Hamilton. Also Mickey.
Yeah,
Shout out
a lot
Mickey
of-
and Ian.
wow.
and Ian Lipton,
Wow.
the guy that directed our Submarine Diaries and a
Early
lot
music
of our first super clean music videos went to Hamilton. Our trumpet player and our best friend,
And Thundercat, right?
and Thundercat also went
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. It's high school, right?
Mhm.
Just want to say this is probably one of the better of all of the interviews we've had this album
Oh, yeah.
cycle.
TJ, you're the man.
You have an
Thank you.
illustrious career ahead
Also,
of you.
Dolce Zolo, the restaurant right next to Hamilton, really good.
Thank you guys for watching. This has been TJ Brunelle with the Federalist with the Marías. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
Later.
Thank you.